Hi, I'm Julie Zegelin, the editor of Generosity.org, a social impact news site here in Philadelphia. This is Around the Corner, our Philly Cam show, in which I interview local social impact leaders about the work that they're doing in the city. And right now I have with me Candace Matthews-Bass, who is with Philabundance Community Kitchen. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So can you explain what the Community Kitchen is?
Absolutely. The Philabundance Community Kitchen is a culinary arts and meal production job training program designed for low-income adults and ex-offenders who are trying to rebuild or pull their lives back together. It is really focused on producing meals for people who are in need, while at the same time training individuals who would then take food service employment opportunities to become stable.
Great. So it's a workforce development program, it's a hunger alleviation program, and it's meant for people who, as you said, are looking to get back on their feet in some way.
Absolutely. And although a lot of our students are returning citizens, we work with a lot of folks who are low income in general, who are just looking for a new start, have made mistakes, are in the wrong field, and really are looking for an opportunity to just do something new and are willing to recognize some of the missteps that have occurred in their lives.
Sure. And so I know you just mentioned that all of these different kinds of people can be a part of the program, but returning citizens in particular, they have a lot of barriers to employment. And so they can join this program, and this is a way for them to gain employment skills so that they can get out of that cycle of unemployment, right?
Definitely. I'm thinking about the approximately 60% of returning citizens who go back to prison after they've been released in the Philadelphia area. And our program seeks to address for that community specifically what have been those patterns that are resulting in them ending back into prison, as well as working, doing our best to work closely with providers throughout the Philadelphia area and those who are advocating for rights on behalf of returning citizens. Working with those who have a number of offenses. While there are many programs that are only working with very lightweight or misdemeanors, we definitely take an array of offenses, knowing that these are folks who need the greatest amount of help to reintegrate into society.
Sure, yeah. And so what does the program itself look like? You know, how long is the training program, et cetera?
Certainly. The program is 14 weeks at a time. Students spend half of their days in a hands-on live action, packed kitchen. Food that we're producing is being produced for both folks who are actually living in the shelter where we operate, as well as contracts of different communities in need who are living outside of our location. They spend their mornings in the kitchen actually learning practical culinary lessons and theory like you would in a formal culinary school. In the afternoon, they have classes that are really focused on developing them personally. Life skills, job readiness, math classes. They do safe food handling, and then they also have formal, as I mentioned, culinary training. So every morning is really action-based, and all the afternoons are lots of homework, lots of studying. They have quizzes, tests, midterms, just like any school.
Yeah, great. And then what happens after the program?
After, when they get to the last 2 weeks of the program, the students do a 2-week off-site internship with a local business entity in a commercial kitchen setting. Those are really, pertinent for the students because oftentimes that's the opportunity they have to illustrate their skills and give employers in the area an opportunity to see what they can do without seeing the background or seeing all of the ways in which oftentimes people are judged before we even see what their abilities are.
Sure.
Once they finish their internship, many of our students are hired through that practice, but those who are not then go into a retention phase with our staff, and they are tracked for up to 2 years to ensure smooth transition into the workforce and to make sure that they're stabilizing in the ways that they've set as goals when they started the program.
Great. Do you have an idea of the numbers associated with that?
Sure. So we've graduated just under 800 students over the life of the program.
Yeah.
Of those 800, approximately 80% are placed in jobs.
Great.
We usually do that by 90 days after they have graduated from the program. Around a year, approximately 70 to 75% are still employed. And then even all the way up to 2 years after, still around 70% are still employed. And it's really just because we work really hard to build relationships with the students, but as time goes on, our employment specialist keeps a close contact with them and really getting a sense of what's going on in their lives personally, and being able to respond if it is a new job that we need, if it's more hours, if there's a challenge personally that we need to bring our life coach back in to counsel them through, we just want to be available so that they can stabilize.
Interesting. And so you just mentioned a life coach, and so that's someone on staff who is working with them on their, I imagine, like goal setting and just personal responsibilities. And
Absolutely.
things? Yeah.
Our life coach is responsible for a curriculum of classes that are taught in addition to one-on-one counseling and coaching and mentoring. So they might take a class on communication, on problem solving, on goal setting, and then that exercises that come out of that class are implemented through the program, and we can kind of see if students are using them or not through the way in which they interact in that live kitchen, which simulates a workplace. The life coach recruits as well as helping the students transition to the backside of the program where they're really focusing on employment skills.
Great. And so there are a couple different cycles per year that people can join the program, right?
Every season, I was thinking similar to college, but college often is 2 semesters. This is 4 sessions per year. We operate new classes in January, in April, in July, and in September of every year. And the month prior to that is when we start looking for our students for those classes.
Great. Awesome. And so if people want to get involved, if they want to be either a part of the program or just to learn more about it, how can they do that?
Absolutely. Something that should be noted is that our program is free to all of our participants. Yes. However, the program cost is approximately $3,500 per student, and our program is not supported by any government funding. So if one would want to contribute to our program or sponsor a graduate, that would be a great way to do it, through a financial contribution. For people who are interested in enrolling in the program, they can go to the website where there's very strategic information about who to contact for recruitment, and then during the months prior to the starts that I mentioned, January, April, July, and September, we recruit for that entire month. And that's open house and taking tests and speaking to staff.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about the program. Yeah, it's great to meet you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.